desire it, declare it, and do it. What I want to talk about today is the initial stages of success. If you want to be successful in this day and age, you really have to desire it. Next, you have to declare it, and then you have to do it. So, let's talk about success for a minute. What does that mean to you? And yeah, you might have your very own definition of success. Everybody doesn't have the same meaning for success. For instance, traditionally speaking, some people may believe that success is about having a lot of fame, popularity, power, depending on how you define power, a lot of money. I tell you what, I think most people would say to a degree that if you have a lot of money, you have a fair amount of success. And, rightfully so, because in this day and age, our system of survival is economic. It's not like we're out in the wild competing against other people trying to hunt down game and, to feed our families and that kind of thing. So you really do have to have a substantial amount of cash in your wallet and bank account if you want to survive, or should I say, thrive in a fairly comfortable manner. You know, when it comes to success, some people want health. They want a healthy body, radiant health. They want to live out the full quarter of their days strong and vigorous without any painful issues or sicknesses. And, again, rightfully so, because we have to have our bodies functioning at optimum capacity to be able to get along in this world nicely. And some people might say peace of mind, and that's kind of a tricky one. But I would call that successful if you achieve peace of mind. And then some people may be like King Solomon. The first thing he asked for was wisdom. He wanted to be wise. Why? Because he wanted to be able to rule fairly and justly over his kingdom, over his constituents. But Solomon had an interesting situation. He wanted to be able to rule fairly over his people, so he asked for wisdom. And boy, did he get it. I mean, not only did he get wisdom, he got fame, fortune, 700 wives, 700 plus wives. How's that for being successful? And I'm talking about queens and princesses from other countries and whatnot. I mean, yeah, Solomon was successful and he was also wise. He was successful because of his wisdom. And there was one interesting thing about Solomon's request for wisdom. And I don't know if he took it in consideration when he asked for it uh, to rule over his people. And this was the thing: the people were both in the world and of the world. Get that? They were both in the world and of the world. So, guess what? Solomon was given the kind of wisdom that was required that the people can accept and understand. He was given worldly wisdom, and it worked out for him great for pretty much all of his life until he got towards the end. And then his wits started to grow dim. It says in the Bible, he started to, and I'm paraphrasing, chase after false gods. His wives, 700 wives, man. His wives enticed him to follow after their gods, and he allowed it all to happen in his elderly years. And as a result, just like the city of Babylon, the Tower of Babel, the kingdom of Israel fell apart. It went to pieces. So if you want wisdom, you just got to be careful of how you ask for it, don't you think? And here's kind of like the crux of the topic: Solomon's situation. He went dim. I like to call it spiritual sleep. He went to sleep spiritually. And that's why what happened at the end of his reign happened the way it did. He fell into a state of spiritual sleep. I know he was elderly, and it was probably something akin to dementia what happened to Solomon. Otherwise, when Solomon was in his right mind, there's no way he would have allowed the worship of false gods in the kingdom of Israel. So he fell into a state of spiritual sleep. So that would be the first thing about being successful: avoiding spiritual sleep. And here's something very interesting as well. It happened to Solomon when he was elderly, but in this day and age, even the young folk have gone to sleep spiritually. And I'm talking about young. I mean, I'm talking about teens, preteens. They are asleep spiritually. And here's what I mean by that. First of all, think about it. Think about regular sleep. When you go to sleep and you go to bed, what happens to you? You start to lose consciousness. You get drowsy. Your attention, your awareness, your alertness starts to fade, and then you lose consciousness. And then your brainwave activity, when it slows down to a certain point that they call, in the field of hypnology, they call it the theta range. When your brain waves slow down after you lose consciousness to a certain point called theta, you start dreaming. Okay, you know what a dream is. So let's backtrack a little bit. If you really think about it, when you walk around, whatever you do daily in life, a lot of us go to work every day. We get up in the morning, we go to work, go to school or what have you, but we're not fully there. Most of us aren't fully there. And what I mean by fully there, fully awake. They're walking around in a daze, dreaming. I mean, think about it. You have all these mental musings going on in your head, whether it be a song stuck in your head, whether it be a scene that a lot of people call mental movies, that about a scenario that happened maybe 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, something that's still on your mind that you're focused on, and it's playing and replaying in your head. And oftentimes it's replaying in such a manner that it did not really happen in reality. And a lot of it is even mocked up. So many people are walking around in a daze, in a state of spiritual sleep. Their mind is somewhere else, like in China or Japan, but their body is on the job at their desk trying to do whatever task they're getting paid to do. So they're dreaming while they're actually awake. almost like sleepwalking. They're in a state of spiritual sleep. And here's the thing about that: when you pray, when you do affirmations, when you visualize, one of the things that's a hindrance to the fulfillment of your desire is spiritual sleep. What does spiritual sleep do to hinder you? Well, it blinds you. It it puts a veil over your receptivity. For instance, if you're praying for extra money, let's say you're praying for extra money, you're affirming for extra money, you're visualizing for extra money. Okay, so you do it. You do your exercises of affirmations, you do your exercises of visualizations, or you pray and you feel pretty good about it. You cast your bread upon the waters, and then you go about your business in the world and you fall back into a state of spiritual sleep. Spiritual sleep serves as a veil over your awareness, over your consciousness, and you tend to miss your blessing. It could be right in front of your eyes and you miss out on it because you fell into a state of spiritual sleep. And most people are perpetually in a state of spiritual sleep, and it's sad. And this is why people can barely pay attention to each other. This is why people can barely understand each other. I mean, think about it. When you're having a conversation with somebody and you think you have an understanding, then later on you found out they thought you meant something totally opposite. That's because the person was spiritually asleep, and more than likely so were you. You know, spiritual sleep is the veil that distorts or corrupts or totally blinds your perception of reality. And again, it blinds you to the awareness and destroys receptivity to receive whatever blessing or whatever goal you're trying to accomplish. Spiritual sleep covers you and you miss out on it. So the first thing or first tool of success that you need all your brain power. You need total alertness, total consciousness. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to affirm 3 affirmations. We're going to desire it. You're going to desire to be fully awake and alert to the blessings that are trying to get through to you, or the goals that the law of attraction is trying to gravitate to you. You're going to be aware so you can be receptive to it all. Okay? So you're going to desire it, declare it, and do it. And your 3 affirmations are: I am awake. Okay? I am awake. I mean, I guess that goes without saying. I am alert. I am alert. Okay? And I am attentive. I am awake. I am alert. I am attentive. You could even say I am aware. You can interchange all those, but you're going to be able to pay attention, fully pay attention, so you can be alert to the blessings that the Creator is trying to bestow upon you. And here's the irony of it all. Again, say these affirmations at night just before you drift off to sleep, or first thing in the morning when you wake up, or both. I mean, reinforce it. Say these affirmations during those times, but because technically, when you're kind of in a state of drowsiness anyway, doubt doesn't have a chance to creep in and destroy your what do you call it? Your reasoning mind, and bully your reasoning mind into thinking, oh, it's no use. So do it at those crucial moments when doubt is nullified to its greatest uh, level, or its lowest level, to where it can't go in and get inside your head and disrupt the goodness that you're trying to claim for yourself. So again, I am awake, I am alert, and I am attentive. Those are your affirmations. And here's a spiritual exercise you can do to accompany your affirmations. During the day, you're going to practice remaining alert and awake. And how do you do that? You have to remember yourself. You have to snap yourself out of these states of spiritual sleep. And it's kind of hard to do a lot of times because you're so absorbed in the daydream. You're so absorbed in the scenery of these unrealistic mental movies that are racing through your head. But here's a way to outsmart it, that nefarious process. Remember yourself. And all you got to do to do that is do your best to perceive. Think about the entity that's inside your head, peeking out at the world from behind your eyeballs. That's the thing that gives you perception. That's the thing that receives guidance from God. That's the thing that's receptive to being able to receive the blessings that God is trying to give to you, but you're not paying attention enough to receive. And just do that. Take the time out to just shift your focus from whatever daydream. And you could do this all day, every day. You can actually condition yourself to be wide awake for greater periods of time till such a point that you're fully illumined. So practice, along with your affirmations, practice perceiving the entity inside your head that's peeking out at the world from behind your eyeballs. And another thing you can do, you can get this book, The Power of Spiritology by Dario Thomas. It goes more in depth about the brief lesson you just learned about staying awake and alert, snapping yourself out of spiritual sleep so you can receive whatever goodness you deserve. And you do deserve goodness and blessings. I know you do. We both know you do. And, the spiritual sleep that many of us walk around in, it kind of distorts the magnetic waves, that stem from the law of attraction. When you have a desire and you visualize and you affirm, and the law of attraction begins to work for you, and then the the electricity gets corrupted because it has to try to penetrate that spiritual sleep, which is a kind of a shadow energy, and it destroys your best interest, and it prevents you from receiving blessings and being successful, taking your life to the next level. So do it. Okay? Desire it, declare it, and do it. I am awake. I am alert. I am attentive. And join, subscribe to the Spiritology television network where you can receive more of these videos and take your life to the next level. God bless.